You see those headlines about VA programs ending and getting canceled. It's easy to just tune out the noise from DC, but this recent kill switch on the VASP home loan program, this wasn't just another headline. It ripped the cover off a potential blind spot, a vulnerability many vets aren't prepared for, even if they think they're squared away. As a Marine veteran, surprises that impact veterans in need don't sit right with me. So, my mission here is simple. We're going to cut through the red tape. I'll show you exactly what this vulnerability looks like, why every vet homeowner needs to understand it now, and how to stay vigilant to protect what's yours. What is this vulnerability, this blind spot? To understand it, first, you need the ground truth on what exactly just got cut with that VASP program. We're talking about a program called VASP, the Veteran Affairs Servicing Purchase Program. Now, VASP wasn't just some everyday assistance. Think of it as the VA's last line of defense for veteran homeowners facing foreclosure, folks who had exhausted other options but could still potentially recover. Here's how it worked. If a vet was in deep trouble with their VA loan, the VA could actually step in, buy that defaulted loan from the mortgage company, and then modify it. And here's the critical part. They'd often modify it into a new direct loan with a fixed interest rate of just 2.5% for the life of the loan. In today's rate environment, getting a 2.5% fixed rate, that's unheard of. It was a genuine lifeline, making payments affordable again for thousands who would have otherwise lost their homes. Now, imagine having that lifeline dangled, maybe even being in the process of getting it, and then BAM! End of April 2025, the VA issues a notice. Effective May 1st, less than 10 days later, they pulled the plug. No more VASP applications accepted, just like that. No gradual wind down for new folks needing help, no smooth transition, a critical program offering unique, deep affordability, gone with almost no warning. So here's our first critical piece of intel, the first takeaway. The VA abruptly killed its VASP program, that unique, last resort, 2.5% lifeline for struggling veteran homeowners. That sudden move is what starts to reveal the blind spot I mentioned. Now let's dig into why this immediate cancellation creates such a problem, and why it should matter to all of us. Now, you might still be thinking, that's tough for those directly impacted, but how is that my problem if I'm paying my mortgage? And that's exactly the blind spot we need to illuminate. Yes, this immediately puts potentially tens of thousands of veteran families, maybe 50, 60,000 or more based on recent numbers, in a much tougher spot, facing foreclosure without that VASP option. But the real issue, the reason this ripples out to all of us with VA loans, is what this cancellation reveals about the safety nets currently in place, or rather, the ones that aren't. It highlights a potential vulnerability we all need to be aware of. See, other government-backed loans like FHA or USDA typically have tools ready for homeowners facing hardship. A big one is called a partial claim. It's a way to catch up on missed payments by deferring them, often interest-free, usually until you sell the house or pay off the loan. It helps people get back on their feet without drastically changing their original loan terms. Now, here's the critical part. The gap VASP's removal exposed. As of today, May 6, 2025, the VA Home Loan Program does not have a widely available, functioning partial claim program like those other agencies. They had one briefly years ago, but it ended. VASP was created in part because that option wasn't there anymore. So, with VASP gone and no equivalent partial claim currently active, our fellow veterans using their VA loan benefits now have fewer effective loss mitigation tools available to them compared to borrowers with other types of government-backed mortgages. Think about that. The benefit we earned potentially comes with less protection right now compared to our civilian counterparts. That doesn't sit right. Now, Congress is looking at legislation H.R. 1815 to authorize a permanent partial claim program for the VA. That's good news, but here's the reality check. It's just a bill. It hasn't passed. It's not law yet. There's no telling when or even if that help will materialize. And that brings us to takeaway number 2. the core of this blind spot. Killing VASP without a replacement ripped open a major gap. It means VA homeowners right now are potentially less protected and have fewer fallback options than many other borrowers. It's proof that VA support systems can change fast, potentially leaving veterans in a vulnerable position. This gap, this vulnerability, underscores why knowing exactly who to turn to for help immediately is so important, whether it's you or a buddy hitting a rough patch. Which leads us to our final critical piece of intel. Alright, this is where the rubber meets the road. Given this blind spot, the gap in the safety net we just talked about, knowing the exact right steps to take if you ever face mortgage trouble is no longer just good advice. It's mission critical knowledge for every single one of us. Whether it's you, your neighbor, someone from your old unit, if financial hardship hits and that VA mortgage payment becomes a struggle, time is the enemy. And the first move is everything, especially now with the landscape shifted. Here's the danger zone, thinking, I'll wait and see, or assuming your mortgage servicer automatically knows or will offer the best VA-specific solution right away. With VASP gone as that final backstop mandated in the old process, there's potentially less standardization, relying only on one channel or delaying that first call, that hesitation, that incomplete picture. That's how veterans can end up falling through the cracks, making devastating mistakes and potentially losing their homes when it might have been avoidable. You cannot afford to be passive or partially informed if trouble strikes in this current environment. So lock this in. Takeaway number 3, your critical action plan. Yes, contact your mortgage servicer immediately if you anticipate trouble, but crucially, you also need to directly contact the VA's own loan guarantee technicians. Write this number down. Put it in your phone right now. 877-827-3702. When you call, you'll likely hit option 5. These VA folks are there specifically to counsel veterans, explain options, and even work with your servicer. They are your direct line to VA expertise. Knowing this number and understanding you should contact both your servicer and the VA directly, that's not just for people in trouble today. That's essential preparedness intel every veteran homeowner should have stashed away, just like your DD-214. Okay, we covered the VASP kill switch, the blind spot it revealed in the system, and the critical immediate contact info everyone needs. Now, let's tie this all together. What's the big picture takeaway here? Now you understand how this sudden cancellation impacts the overall reliability and landscape of VA benefits, and you learned what every veteran homeowner or future homeowner needs to know now to be prepared and protect their earned benefits in the future. Now, this whole VASP situation we just broke down, it's a stark reminder of how quickly the landscape can change with VA policy, and frankly, it highlights why we need to keep our eyes open. And speaking of staying informed, I know this VASP news is happening amidst a lot of other chatter and rumors swirling around about VA benefits right now in 2025. Stuff about potential disability pay cuts, major changes to ratings, VA job freezes. It's hard to sift through the noise and know what's real versus what's just meant to spin us up. Well, if you're trying to get the ground truth on those specific issues, I've got you covered. In this next video right here, we cut through that fog. I lay out the facts versus the fiction regarding VA disability compensation, those rumored rating changes, and how staffing issues for this year, 2025. Click now to get the clarity you deserve and stop wasting your energy on those rumors.